Hello everyone. We don't always have time to practice 60 minutes or 45 minutes yoga class in the end of the day. We might be tired or we are quite short on time. So today's class will be really focusing on trying to move the lower body and the upper body in a short amount of time. You can do this every night. You can do this every other night. But also I do believe that intuitive movement is the most important. So even if you don't do yoga class, maybe just move, wiggle around and shuffle around. That will be already better than not moving at all. But if you need some guidance, you can do this class. So today we're not going to need many props. If you have a block, that will be useful, but if you don't have a block, that's all right. You can always use your wall or anything that's nearby. I will guide you through as we go along. So how we're going to start is we're going to start on our mat. So we're going to start on our mat, standing. See if you can reach your arms up towards the ceiling. Grab hold of the left wrist with your right hand. Reach your left hand high up and see if you can reach to your right hand side, finding a side bend. Elevating through the shoulders, lifting up and reaching to the right hand side. Making sure you're not arching the back, not rounding the back. And see if you can look up under the left armpit. Taking one more inhale in to lengthen and exhale, closing the ribs as you side bend. So we're going to come back to the middle. Reach your right hand up, grab hold of the right wrist with the left hand. You elevate up high and side blend to your left hand side. Looking up under the right armpit. Anytime you feel this is a bit too much, you can always rest your left hand onto your left side just to find the length and lift. So you're almost supporting your torso. Taking one more inhale in here and exhale out. So you're going to reach back up high. Exhale, bring your arms by your side. You're going to roll the shoulders up and back. Taking one more. And exhale out. With the next inhale, see if you can reach your hands high up to the sky. Exhale, bend the knees and fold forward down to the ground. Coming up to your halfway lift, lift the chest higher. And heel to the feet at least hip distance apart. You can go much wider if it feels comfortable for you. Bend the knees, so you will allow your chest to melt down onto your thighs and grab hold of opposite elbows. Find your dangling position. So see if you can find stillness. Try not to look on the floor, try to look behind you. Let the head hang heavy. And if you find yourself that you're quite high up, that your torso is almost above 90 degrees compared to your legs, then bend the knees more so you can get your chest low. So it's more important to get your belly to your thighs than straightening the legs. So it doesn't matter if your legs are straight or not. Holding it here, dangling down, allowing the head to hang heavy. If you feel comfortable to close your eyes, you can even close your eyes. Just taking another few breaths here. So throughout the class, if you want to use any breath control exercise, you can. But be mindful of breathing in the postures. So sometimes when the body is under stress or you feel uncomfortable, you stop breathing or you restrict your breath. So make sure you breathe in every posture so you can soften deeper. Let's take one more inhale in here and exhale it out. Bend the knees a little bit more. Relax your hands down. Whether you were at the back or the front, walk back or walk forward. So you can drop your knees down to your mat. Finding your all fours. We're going to take a few cat and cows. With the inhale, you're going to arch the back, lift your head up. And with the exhale, you're going to round the back, bring your chin to collar. Inhale, you're going to allow the belly to drop, arch the back, lift the head up. And as you exhale, you're going to round the back, bring your chin to collar. Let's take a few more round and move in your own pace. You might want to move slower, might want to move a bit faster, but try to move mindfully. I quite like to add a little bit of side blend, almost like circling in a figure of 8 shape with the whole torso. Sometimes I feel some tightness on the back, so I stay longer in an arch, but you can always adjust to yourself. So that's why I mean about intuitive movement. Move where your body wants you to move. Listen to your body and never push anything that doesn't feel right. That's how you can heal the body if you pay attention to do it. So be gentle if you need to, taking one more full inhale in through the nose and out through the nose. From there, coming back to your flat back, tuck your feet under and lift your knees off, finding your downward facing dog. Legs at least hip distance apart but can be wider. Hands at least shoulder distance apart but can be wider. Either holding down dog in stillness or maybe paddle through the legs, twist, side bend, maybe circle the neck, circle the wrist. moving in any way you can or you'd like. You can even close your eyes, although no one sees you. I can't see you. You might not see me either. It doesn't matter how you move, it doesn't matter how it looks like, but move the body. Start to check in if you're working with any injuries that you need to be aware of, and just be aware of any tightness in the body. Let's take one more inhale in through the nose and out through the nose. Settle down in your down dog and lift your right leg high above the sky. Bend up the top leg, open the hip out to the side to split dog. It almost looks like a peeing dog. Your right knee points as high as you can. Find your left hamstring. You might find your right hip flexor and inner thigh groin stretching too. Holding it there, push the floor away and see if you can circle your ankle. Right ankle circling around. Clockwise, once or twice, and anti-clockwise, once or twice. Taking one more inhale in here. And exit it out. Then inhale, you're going to shift the weight forward, bring your knee to your chest, lift the hip high and step your right foot down, bring your back knee down to the ground. We're looking for our half split. So open the chest, start to drag your hip back. Personally, I have to shuffle my right foot further forward, so you might have to as well. If you can touch the floor, stay there on your fingertips or palms. If you can't touch the floor, you can use a block. If you don't have a block, you can always shuffle the foot further forward and bend the knee to find your right hamstring. So ideally, you want to flex your right foot back unless it's too much on your hamstrings. You want to arch the back, open the chest, and trying to fold over the leg. Now, for some, it may be already enough here. Some of you might be flat. But make sure you don't go to full split. You want to stay in half split. If you can't find your right hamstring, maybe move around. Maybe wrap your right hip back, left hip forward, lengthens through the torso, lengthens through the head, and try to go far forward. So what we try to avoid is being a Quasimodo rounded back. Why? Because the more you round the back, the less you're going to find your hamstring. So you're going to stretch your back body, which is good, but that's not our aim in the beginning. You're going to find your hamstring. So you might have to come higher, might have to use your wall, lengthen, open, and fold over. Taking one more inhale in here, and exit it out. From there, slowly open the chest, start to bend the right leg. You might have to bring your right foot closer in, you can adjust. Allowing your hips to sink forward, both hands inside the right foot. Make sure your right knee and right ankle kind of stays in line, but you can always shuffle it out a little. Allowing your hips to sink down and maybe come down to your forearms. If you can't come down to your forearms, you can come down on to your block. So finding your lizard. Now looking for your left hip flexor, right inner thigh, melting forward and down towards the ground. So this time you want to melt against the gravity. So you want the gravity to pull you down. You want to make sure that your right knee feels comfortable. So if your right ankle goes further forward than right knee, that's okay. But if it goes further back, so your heels are off and your knees overshooting the ankle, the problem with that is that you're overstretching your ankle for no absolute reason, and also you're missing out on the inner thigh stretch. So make sure to aim for right knee, right ankle kind of in line. Allowing your chest to melt down, holding it here for another 2 breaths. Taking one more, maybe coming down to your chest if you feel good, if you're there tonight. And slowly coming back up onto your palms. Maybe shuffle the right foot closer in, allowing your hips to sink down and coming up onto your right quad. Bending up your back leg and grab hold of the back foot. Now, holding the back foot. For some, you might have your hip up high, or might have your hip up low down. It's up to you. For some, it will be hard to grab hold of the foot, so you can always scooch up to the wall and put your foot up the wall and bring your left knee as close to the wall as you can. And you either lift up, opening the chest, or sink forward and squeezing the foot towards the sit bone. So yoga is very much about experimental. So you want to experiment what feels right. For me, my left knee would hurt if I stand high up here. It depends on how your patella moves when your knee bends. And for some, it's very comfortable here. And for some, it's more comfortable here. But you can always put a block or something under your knee. But find the stretch on your left quad, front of the left thigh. Holding it there here for 2 more breaths. Make sure you don't go down, because if you go down, you lose the stretch on the front body. So you want the whole front body elongating so you can get into your quad a little bit more. Taking one more inhale in here and exhale it out. Slowly let go of your foot, hands down, tuck your back foot under, lift your knee off, push yourself back up to your down dog to paddle through the legs. When you feel ready, you lift up your left leg high above the sky, bend up the leg, open the hip and find your split dog. Push the floor away. You might be able to see your left foot under the right armpit, lifting the right shoulder higher up, maybe circling your left ankle clockwise once or twice and anti-clockwise. Make sure you move it slow. Hear any creaks, anything that feels uncomfortable. If something feels uncomfortable, don't force it. Then slowly bring your left knee to your chest, shift the weight forward to your high plank and step your left foot lightly down. Bring your back knee down and start to drag your hip back. Again, you might have to shuffle the foot further forward, finding your half split. Using blocks under the hands or coming to your fingertips, lengthening through the toes and folding forward and down. Find your left hamstring. So it's nothing fancy today. It's all about finding the stretch, finding a target area on the legs in the beginning of the practice. Draw shoulders back, chest forward. So you want to go forward with your sternum, not with your forehead. So you always aim your forehead towards your ankle, not your knees. Knee. Taking one more inhale in through the nose and exhale out through the nose. Hopefully you found the hamstring a little. Without any rush, start to bend the front leg. Bring the left hand inside the left foot. Adjust, shuffle if you need to. Left ankle, left knee in line. You can always shuffle the left foot out and coming down over to the forearms or chest. So some of you will struggle to come down from palms, and that's okay. You don't have to be down. It is also an option to bring your hands out wide so your chest and the torso can sink a bit more forward. For some, it will be hard to allow the hips to sink down, so you might be pulling back. That's okay too. You can always come up as high as you need. Let your hips get comfortable. Whether your toes pointing up, forward, or to the side does not matter. Holding it there for a few more breaths. Always make sure that your joints are safe, especially knee. Making sure your ankle feels okay too. Taking one more. And exit out. Slowly start to bring your hips back. Lift your chest up high. Find your balance. Look to one steady point and grab hold of the back foot. So ideally, to get hold of the foot, some of you might use a belt or a strap. But obviously, I don't expect you to have it at home. I don't even know where is mine around in the house. So you can always use the wall, allowing your hips to stay upright or lower down. If you've never done this posture before, then I invite you to experiment with it. Where do you feel? What do you feel? How does it feel on your knee? How does it feel on your quad? And then when you find the stretch, just stay there. Because if you fidget too much, you're wasting that precious time moving around instead of trying to find the stretch. And if you feel like you can't find the stretch just yet, then have to settle somewhere and wait. And just observe. What do you feel? So be aware if you're very fidgety in classes, because sometimes fidgeting means that you feel uncomfortable to be still. That's more of a mental challenge than a physical challenge. What we also face in yoga. Slowly taking one more inhale in here and exhale out. Let go of your foot. Bring your hands down. Tuck your back foot under, lift your knee off, and sit back onto your heels, coming down to a Japanese style seated. When you feel ready, extending the legs forward and lay on your back. Hug your knees into the chest, rocking side to side. Maybe you want to bring your forehead to your knees, whatever feels right. Again, move however you want to. Listen to your intuition, what your body tells you. And keeping on your back, staying on your back. Bring the soles of the feet up towards the ceiling. Grab hold of the outside of your feet. Knees into the armpits, rocking side to side in your happy baby. Massaging the lower back. If you can't hold a foot, you can hold ankles, a calf, behind the knee, wherever feels good. But finding your happy baby. If you have any variations, you're always welcome to take it. Taking one more inhale in here and exhale it out. From there, hug your knees into the chest and release your foot down. You will bend up your right knee to your chest. Right ankle comes just above your left knee, creating this figure of 4 shape. Keeping your ankle there and start to bring your left knee to your chest, left thigh to your chest. Grabbing hold of your left shin under the left thigh. So this is your modification for your sleeping swan or pigeon. You might hear that more often. Flex your right foot back, or make sure you find stretch on your right glute. So many times hear that if you flex your right foot back, you're protecting the knee. And I'm not gonna deny that. That's when a teacher says that. And I agree too, I was teaching it like that many times. But if flexing your foot back brings aggravation to your knee, don't do it. Just make sure you don't over push it close to your chest, finding your stillness, holding it here. If it feels good, you can always push your right knee away, but only unless your right knee doesn't hurt. So your right knee should never hurt. Taking one more inhale in through the nose. Try to keep your tailbone down to the ground, but don't worry if it rolls off. Then from there, relax your left knee from your chest. Wrap your right leg around the left, so squeeze your thighs together. Maybe bend the legs and wrap around the ankles too, to your eagle legs. Bring your hands down, shuffle the hips to your right hand side, and bring your knees to your left hand side to your sleeping in twisted roots. Bring your arms to T or cactus, gaze up or opposite side from your knees. Now, if this double wrapping eagle legs is too much for you tonight, you can always unravel the legs and just have your knees on top of each other, or a block between the knees, or a pillow if you don't have a block. Find your twist for a few seconds, releasing down, closing your eyes, and finding your stillness. Let your back relax. So with this twist, you don't have to move around, you don't have to get deeper in the posture, you just have to let go. Allowing your back to settle, allowing your mind to settle. Taking one more full inhale in here, and exhale it out. Slowly coming back to the middle, unravel the legs, hug your knees to the chest. I'm going to go straight to the other side. Left ankle just above your right knee, and hug your right knee to your chest. You're looking for stretch in the rotator cuffs, glutes. Some people even say it in the inner thighs. It's very personal. Our anatomy is very different, and where you feel the tightest, that's where you feel the stretch more. So lower back is very useful stretch there as well. So if you feel your lower back, that's normal too. Breathe in, flex or point your toe, whichever feels right for you. Maybe pushing the left knee away from the chest and bring your right knee closer to the chest. Taking 2 more breaths. When you feel ready, soften your knees away from the chest a little. Squeeze your left thigh on top of your right, single to double repeat the eagle legs. Maybe lift up the hips to the left hand side a little and drop your knees down to your right hand side. Arms out to T or cactus. Anytime you would find that your arms are floating, please put something under your left arm, pillow or block, or you can always adjust right shoulder further to your right hand side. Maybe your chest facing more towards the ceiling. So any adjustment is always welcome. Finding your eyes closed, the body still, and holding it here. There's nowhere to be, nothing else to do. So relax and let go for a few seconds. Let your chest open, the back twist, and you might feel your glutes still a little bit. Taking the last 2 breaths. Taking 1 more. And exhale it out. Slowly unravel the legs, coming back to the middle, and hug your knees to the chest. We have 1 more posture to do. So if you have a block, you can have it nearby. So we're going to come to Viparita Karani. Viparita Karani is just extending the legs up towards the wall, up towards the ceiling. If you have a wall, you can always rest your heels against the wall and scoot your bum close to the wall and just relax there. If you have a block, put the block under the sacrum, the bony bit of your back, so you feel supported and extending the legs up, and hold there. Let your legs free float, let your eyes close, and holding it here. Staying here for a few seconds, finding stillness, and enjoy your supported inversion. getting your heart slightly above the head, especially if you have your hips on a block. Now you're welcome just to stay in Viparita Karani, especially if you have quite a sensitive back or you have pain on your back, you can just stay here. If you have practiced your snail, your Kanapidasana ear pressure pose that comes from your shoulder stand, you can take that too. Now I will show you options. So maybe if you practice this class, maybe you can progress. The more you practice, the more deeper you can get into the snail. So either stay in Viparita Karani, or if you've never done your shoulder stand or your snail, you can scoot your bum up to the wall, bring your soles of the feet on the wall and lift up. Now you can get into a supported shoulder stand. You can stay there, getting your heart even higher, holding it there, maybe bringing one knee to your chest or forehead, hold there. Maybe you do that for a couple of times, not on one class, but throughout the weeks. Then change it around. So whenever you do right leg, make sure you do the left leg as well. Stay there for a few breaths. Or if you feel all right, bring both knees to the forehead, allowing your knees to settle towards the forehead. Don't worry if it's not getting any close just yet. Just make sure you take it slow. You can always come back, use the wall again if you need to. If it feels okay, you can always let your knees rest by the ears. Maybe support the back, always support the back if you feel uncomfortable. Or if you feel comfortable, you can even hug around the thighs or reach your arms above the head. Personally, I quite like to rest my knee and my top of my foot on my palm and armpit. Staying there for another count of 10. Eyes closed, the breath slows down. You can always come out earlier if you need to, or you may be still in Viparita Karani, and that's okay too. If you are in your Kanapidasana or snail, bring your hands on the floor. If you're by the wall, you can use the wall as you go down, knees to chest. Bring your hips slowly down towards the ground, or you can use the wall. If you're not by the wall, coming down in your own time. If your back hurts, you can always lay down on your back, bring your knees together, heels wide apart. Or if you feel alright, you can always extend the legs forward, finding your final Shavasana. Obviously, if you're by the wall, you can take more time. Socks, jumpers, you can relax down, finding your stillness. Allowing the body to settle and the mind to settle. Staying there for as long as you'd like, enjoying the stillness, enjoying the quiet. Thank you for your attendance, thank you for your practice, and thank you for moving your body at least for a few minutes.